Are you gonna tell us about your knitting goals, Marble? Hi friends, welcome back, or welcome if you are new here. My name is Karlijn. I like to do knitting and crocheting videos on my channel, and today I thought I would share with you my 2025 knitting, crocheting, fibre art related goals. So today is a little bit of a low-key video. It's exam season, so I had to improvise. This is what you're getting. I hope you like it. Let me know what you think about me just sitting down and yapping to you. I will probably be knitting a little bit. This is my current whip. It's the Olive Top by Knitting for Olive. I'm making this in a DK weight yarn instead of the, I guess, light fingering that it requires. So there's some funny gauge things going on here, but so far I'm actually really enjoying how it looks up, how it works up, and how it's looking. I'm very excited for this project. That being said, this is probably not the best project to work on while I yap, so I don't know how that's gonna go. Alright, I wrote my knitting goals down. If I'm looking down, that's why. My very first goal of the year is working up all of my current whips. So my current whips are the Olive Top, my blanket, which is very close to being finished but not quite there yet, and my ruffle socks. So they are 3 projects which can definitely all be finished at least within the first month or 2 of the year, and my first goal is to not start anything new until I've done that, because I just want a clean slate, not having any works in progresses, and then I can hopefully look at all my yarn in my stash and actively find out what is in there and recount everything, so I have a clear view on how we're doing stash wise. The next 2 goals are kind of broad and they do relate to each other. Yeah, they're not very specific, but I would really like to try out some new designers and some new techniques. So last year I discovered that I despise double knitting, which, you know, that is good to know, because I really wanted to do the square neck camisole, but that requires double knitting and I just don't feel like doing double knitting. So instead of that tank, I'm probably going to be making the mixed cami by Florence Miller. So it's like good to know, right, what you do and do not like to do. So last year I discovered I don't like double knitting, which is very nice information to have. That being said, I'm not going to just always avoid projects that require double knitting now, but I do think I'm able to make more balanced choices with knowing that I just don't enjoy double knitting, and so if a project requires a lot of it, might not be my project. So that is one of the reasons I would really like to try out some new techniques, also just to level up my knitting. I think I've gotten very comfortable with where I'm at right now, with what I know. So I think it's time to learn some new things and broaden my horizons. And then I would like, as I said, to try out new designers. I was very intrigued on how much of the patterns I made in 2024 were from designers that I'd never tried before, how much was petite knit, how much was my favourite things knitwear, and how much was from other designers I have tried before or were just self-drafted. So I put it up in a graph, and 40%, roughly 39.1% of the patterns I made last year were actually made by designers that were new for me. It kind of surprised me. I thought that number would be lower, but it was actually pretty high, and I would actually like to stay around that number. I just like supporting smaller designers, and honestly, maybe this is a controversial opinion, but I don't really get the hype about my favourite things knitwear and petite knit. Don't get me wrong, their designs are very nice, which is also the reason why I make them, right? The end result is very good. The patterns, however, I don't really get the hype around that. I think they could be better. And no, I don't think, I know they could be better. There are designers out there that actually are way clearer in their instructions and the way they write their patterns. And you can just tell that they put a lot of effort in, and I would very much like to support those people. So that is one goal for the new year, to try out some new designers and some new techniques. With that, sort of related, I would very much like to come up with a new pattern this year. You may not know this about me, but I do have some patterns for sale. I don't go screaming it off the rooftops. Maybe I should. I do write patterns, or I used to, and I don't think I've written any patterns last year. That's not true. I've written the Full of Scrap pattern. I would love to come up with something else. Would love to jump back into pattern designing, because I haven't really done that in the past couple of months. I want to focus on that next year, to at least publish one pattern, preferably more, obviously, but at least one. Very obvious, but I would really like to knit up my yarn stash. Now, obviously, like, I know for a fact I'm not going to knit up everything in my stash this year, but I do want to get to a point where hopefully I think I set the goal of 50 skeins, which is insane considering we're currently on 175. It is very ambitious. Anyway, I want to get under 100 at the very least, preferably lower. But as long as I do my best in knitting up from my stash, I think I'm pleased. I said to myself that I could buy 2 sweater quantities of yarn max this year, and I have already hit that. I've hit that. I bought 1 sweater quantity of yarn for my Lumen sweater as like a little gift for the destashing / Christmas gift, and then I got a 1 sweater quantity of yarn that I can hold with the sweater quantity of mohair that I have in my stash. I could sit here and say it doesn't count because I bought it so I can use up yarn that's already in my stash, but I'm not gonna do that. It's counting, it's a sweater quantity of yarn. Yes, it's some yarn that I can use up my stash with, but I also really wanted the yarn. So I hit my 2 sweater quantities of yarn this year, which means from now on we will only be knitting with yarn that is out of my stash. Kind of scary! We'll see. We'll see. I also mentioned this before, but I really want to make more socks this year. Last year I set the goal for myself to do 6 socks in 1 year, so basically 1 sock every other month, or 1 pair of socks every other month, 1 sock every month. I did not do that, unfortunately. I made 4.5 pairs. The first 4 pairs that I made were basic socks, and then the 5th pair of socks that I wanted to make were the ruffle socks, and they just sucked out the mojo, all of my sock knitting mojo. I don't like the start of those socks, and so I did the first sock, just have to put in the heel of that sock and then that's finished. So that's the half, and then I need to make the second sock, but I just haven't felt like casting it on because the beginning is such a drag. I will be doing that, as I said. It's one of my goals, to knit up all of the whips I currently have, which does include the ruffle socks. So I'm gonna finish it, but yeah, I'm probably never gonna make that pattern again, unless it's like ridiculously cute and I end up wearing those socks a lot, but I doubt it. A goal of mine that is not knitting or crocheting related is that I want to finish spinning up the first quantity of fibre that I have. So last year I started spinning and I got a certain quantity of fibre to spin up. I've started spinning it up. I'm about probably 40% there. So I would really like to spin up that entire quantity of yarn, of fibre, before the end of the year, and preferably also put that yarn in a sweater. That would be kind of cool. That would be really cool, and I can't wait to actually have that product, because like, how cool is that to like knit up a sweater with yarn that you make yourself? It's like the ultimate goal. I really want to do that this year. But yeah, I have to spin up that fibre for that to happen. So it's one of my goals this year, is to make my very first hand spun sweater. The next goal is quite kind of silly, but I really need to knit a cardigan. There's like a gap in my wardrobe, which is a cardigan. I have one cardigan in my wardrobe that is store-bought, that I wear all the time, and I kind of want to make something very similar, because that one is on its last legs, I'm not gonna lie. But yeah, I want to make something very similar, and I also just want a new cardigan. I want a cardigan in my wardrobe, because that's something I'm missing, and I can make it myself, so I want to knit a cardigan this year. It's as simple as that. This next goal is sort of similar in something that I want to make, which is like felted slippers or something felted. I really wanted to try out the felting process. I've never done that before. I think it's really cool, and I just want to try it out. See what all the fuss is about. I think slippers would be cool, or like a bag. But yeah, I want to felt something purposefully. Purposely felt something. Something else I want to do this year is decorate my home with some handmade items. It's been over a year now that I've moved here, and I just want to focus a bit more on like actually making it a home. I don't think I'm like too far off already, but I would just love it to like have some more handmade items in my home to make the cozy vibes, like, you know, embrace the cozy. So I want to focus on making some more homemade or like homeware items this year, instead of just clothing and accessories. Now we are almost there. The next goal is that I want to make sure that I document everything in my knitting journal. A couple of weeks back I showed you the setup for my knitting journal, and I just really want to make sure that I keep up with it, that I put everything in there. I would just love to have like a notebook where I can see what I did in a year. Knitting and crocheting are hobbies you don't have to be online for, and I would really like to kind of foster that by keeping track of things in my notebook instead of on my phone, and just, yeah, being a bit more offline, which I know is ironic considering I'm filming a video for social media right now, but there's just so much going on around me that sometimes I just wish I could just, you know, throw all my electronics out of the window, which I know I don't actually want. But I would like to be a little bit more offline, or at least more intentional, or like in the moment. I would like to be more in the moment. That's probably the best way of saying that. Which also kind of is seen in my next goal, which is that I would really like to knit more for like self-care and relaxation instead of content making or like finishing things. I notice in myself that I'm very much like, I need to finish this as fast as I can so I can start the next thing, and I would really like to slow down a bit and actually be in the moment when I make things and enjoy it a bit more. Because ultimately it's my hobby, it's something I really like to do, and I started doing it for like self-care, mental health reasons, also for fun obviously, but it also really helped with my brain. So would like to kind of get back into it, be a bit more conscious while I make things and actually enjoy the process a bit more, and just slow down. It's not that serious, you know what I mean? Focus a bit more on that relaxation during knitting instead of going gremlin mode, as I like to call it. And then the last goal I have for this year is to grow my YouTube channel. I love reading you guys' comments, I love interacting with you guys, I love making these videos. With that also comes that I would love to build a bit more of a community on here, maybe create like a Discord together, or like something with my channel memberships. I have to see how I can foster that in a way that I'm comfortable with, because I am also a university student. I do have a full-time university job. I do still have to do a lot of work besides this, and I don't want to promise something to like channel membership people and then not deliver because I have an exam. So I have to see how to incorporate that, but I would very much like to be more involved in that community stuff and fostering a sense of community. I would love for us to all become friends. I wanna grow my YouTube. It's basically what I'm saying. I wanna grow my YouTube. I want to get to know you guys. I want you guys to get to know me. So those are my goals. I think I've yapped enough. Thank you for listening. Let me know what you thought. This is not what I usually do. I also haven't done any knitting. I just got so involved. Yeah, let me know what you thought. If you have any questions about either my goals or just any questions about me or whatever, feel free to ask them. Leave a comment. Subscribe if you want to. As I said, you can follow me on Instagram or on Ravelry. And I guess without further ado, I will see you guys next week. Take care.